What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Beach Boys album ranking video. So today we're up to number 26 out of 30, video number 5. So we're getting there. We're getting pretty deep in there already. We have 25 more after this, and it's gonna take a while, but if I keep it up at a good pace, I can get all of them done within like a few months. So anyway, last video, 1978's MIU. That was my 27th favorite Beach Boys album, and I had a lot of things to say about that one. Specifically, just that it was an oddity and a forgotten album and a very divisive album within their catalog, and a lot of fans have a lot of different things to say about that one. But I think with their next album, so that was 78, 79, their next album, which you can see in the title, LA Light Album, very weird title, but this was released on May 19th, 1979. Anyway, I think with this album was a pretty big improvement. It's just in terms of the songwriting, the production, and just the level of musicianship. Now, in a couple of ways, I think this album's a little more, even a bit more confused than MIU. Maybe even Keeping the Summer Alive. Just because there's some great fucking songs on here, and there's just some, like, very weird songs on here. It's just a very odd album, and to begin with the very odd album cover. So, basically the story behind this album cover, and the back art as well, is they had a bunch of different artists do a rectangle for like each song. Well, it's not every song, but most of the songs on here, they'll have like a little artwork. So for example, Shortening Bread, this has a little artwork on here. Going South has one, and it's a different artist for all of them, which I think is a very cool idea. I think it looks pretty good. It's kind of a messy cover, very detailed, but I think it looks really cool. I think leaps and bounds ahead of LA in terms of album covers. But anyway, backstory on this one I am not too familiar with compared to a lot of their other albums, but what I do know is that this was basically a collection of songs that all of the members had written up to that point. It wasn't necessarily it wasn't necessarily a group effort put together to write a new album. They basically just each member had their own projects that they put together to make this one. And it was produced by Bruce, which is interesting because he also produced the next album after this, Keeping the Summer Alive, in 1980. So I think maybe he was just the only guy fit to be producing them. And then the band is credited as well, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, this one is a step up from MIU, but in interesting ways. So without further ado, I'll just get into the track list. So this one opens with the song Good Timin', which is fucking a great ass opener. And I've said this about the Beach Boys in previous videos, but they never missed on their album openers. They were always amazing. They're always catchy, entertaining, great highlights, and a lot of them are like the best songs in the album. And for this album, it's no different. I don't know if it's the best song in the album, probably one of them, but it's just a fantastic song written by Brian and Carl, and with Carl on the lead. And what a song! I think the falsetto in the beginning just reminds me a lot of Surfer Girl. It gives me like Surfer Girl vibes. And I don't think it's as good as Surfer Girl, but it retains its same, very like dreamy quality, and I think it's really good. I think it's just about having a good time, nothing too deep, but it's really awesome. I think it's just a really great fucking opener, and it sounds great. Like, the production on this album is just so crisp and clean. MIU, Keeping the Summer Alive as well, the late 70s, early 80s production, I enjoy, and they're good on the other two albums, but on here, I think it sounds really great, and Good Time is no different. I'll show you the artwork for the song. It's a bunch of dogs dancing at a disco party, because this was like their disco album, kind of. It's not a disco song, but this was around the time when disco was a thing. And, great opener. Leads perfectly into the next song, written by Al, one of his greatest songs he ever made, Lady Linda. And, along with Looking at Tomorrow from Surf's Up and California Saga from Holland, I think Lady Linda is one of his greatest songs he ever wrote, and you can hear it in the background. Really nice vibe to it. Now, he actually got inspired by Bach for the chords and the harpsichord and kind of like the vibe of the song and this part. What a great part. I'll get to that, but no, this song's fucking amazing. Al's vocals are great. The production is so luscious and full. It opens with the harpsichord. And I think when this song was released as a single, they didn't have it on there for some reason, but on the album it does. And this song is just amazing. The tempo is just really energetic, and then you heard it when you get to the middle of the song, it slows down, and he kind of it's a very cool vibe. I've only heard a few songs that do that, and it just sounds really good. And the backing vocals, I mean not backing vocals, they're super super luscious, super pretty, and they fit super well. So just like MIU, the first two songs are absolutely stellar, and it's kind of interesting because on MIU you had a Brian song opening the album. Well, he didn't sing it, or he did sing it on MIU, not on this one, but he wrote She's Got Rhythm on MIU. He wrote it, and then Al did Come Go With Me. He sang it, and then this one Brian wrote the opening song, Good Timin', and then Al sings the next song. So it's kind of cool. Two great opening songs, just like the prior album. Then we go to Full Sail, written by Carl. Oh, anyway, this is the Lady Linda artwork. This was actually the single art. But then we have Full Sail, track 3. This was written by Carl and just a couple other co-writers, I think. I don't know who they are. But the artwork on this one reminds me of the Friends album cover with like the clouds in the back. It's pretty cool. Anyway, this is one of two Carl songs on this album that I'm not huge on. They're good songs. They sound really great. You know, they're slower ballads. I'll get to the other one later in the video. But anyway, Full Sail. It's a slower, more drawn out ballad. Very soft, very pretty. And Carl's vocals are very, very sweet on it. And I think it's a good song, but it doesn't really go anywhere for me. There's no climax to it, really. You know, the backing vocals do come in, and I will say they are beautiful. The falsetto on the top of the vocals, and just the way they sound is great, because this album sounds really great, and the vocals especially. But just the song, just from a general sense, isn't the most interesting thing. It's nice, it's pretty, but it doesn't really do much for me. So that one's kind of nowhere near as good as the two openers on here, but it's good. Next, I'm pretty sure we get, which song do we get? Because the back of the album doesn't have the track listing, so I have to actually check the LP. I'm pretty sure it's Angel Come Home. It is, yeah. So this one was written by Carl as well, so two Carl songs in a row. But Dennis sings this one, and wow, what another fucking great song. The backing vocals, just like Dennis's lead, it's so powerful. You know, it starts really really soft, and then it goes into it, and you're just like, wow, this is really really good. And when Dennis like, when my angel comes home, like when he gets into it and you can feel it in the second half of the song, it sounds so fucking great, and I really love it. So that's definitely a highlight. And so Dennis sings that one because I think Carl was like, all right, you need more representation on this new album, because the last album you only sang one song, so he's like, you can sing this one. So the next song after it, Love Surrounds Me, written by Dennis, sung by Dennis. Oh my god, a fucking masterpiece. Wow. I can't really describe it. It's definitely like a soul song. It's very very soulful and emotive, just in the way it's written, and I think honestly it's the best song of the album. Just the instruments and like the keyboard in the background, the effect on it, and like just the atmosphere is just so cool. It sounds like it'd be in a movie on some just like really weird scene, and I don't know what it is about it, but I love that song, and it puts me in a really really cool mood. Just the vibe is great, and I think Dennis just does a great job at singing it. Just his voice at this time, as I said in the Keeping the Summer Alive review, I'm pretty sure, or maybe it was the MIU review, but his vocals were fucked up from drugs and just having a messed up life. But I think it worked because it's not a very loud, heavy song. You know, it's kind of mellow, and I think just when he uses his soft vocals or his lower vocals like that, it works so wonderfully. So I'm pretty sure he wrote that alone, because it was actually meant. So he released his solo album Pacific Ocean Blue in 1977. He was the first Beach Boys member to have a solo album, and he was working on a follow-up called Bamboo, and Love Surrounds Me was gonna be on there, but it never came out, and the band and the producers were worried that it was not gonna end up on an album because it was such a great song, so they're like, they're gonna include it on here. And I'm glad they did, because fucking amazing ass song. And anyway, here's the inner sleeve with the band at the time, Al, what is that, Mike, the band. I think it looks cool. The design on the album is much better than MIU. MIU looks like trash compared to this. So I think they did a good job with the design on this album. So anyway, yeah, basically that's the first 5 tracks. I think there's one more on side A. Yep, Sumahama. Okay. This one is very interesting. So this was written by Mike, and It's very similar to Bells of Paris from MIU in the fact that it's about a country. So Bells of Paris from MIU was about going to France and, you know, getting tea, going to the Eiffel Tower. She spoke French in it. And this one, Sumahama, is about going to Japan, or just about a Japanese story or something. But again, he sings Japanese. He sings a foreign language. And I honestly think while a lot of people kind of write this song off as really cheesy and corny, I think it's fucking awesome. I think Mike did a really good job on this one. And I just think the atmosphere, like, I don't even know if he's the one who arranged all the instruments. He might have. If he did, that's really impressive. But it sounds so high quality. It sounds like it could be in a movie. And, you know, Mike didn't, he barely wrote any songs just plain up by himself. And I don't know if this was completely by himself. He might have gotten help on this one. No. Yeah, completely by himself. So I think this is one of his very few solo writing credits. And yeah, so he must have wrote all the backing to it. And it's beautiful. Like, it's a beautiful sounding song. His vocals are not nasally. They're great. They sound really good. They're soft. Like, I really love when he does his soft vocals. I think if he puts together like a soft, more ballad type song, his vocals can sound beautiful. You know, when he tries to phone it in and do his really nasally vocals like he would do on like Still Cruising, Summer in Paradise, it comes off as really cheesy. But when he does, like, when he actually tries and gives effort into his song, it sounds fucking great. And Sumahama, it's weird. Yes, he speaks Japanese, and this song is just kind of weird in general because it's a Beach Boys song about Japan being like some Japanese warrior or something. I don't even know. But I think Mike did a great job on that song. So anyway, side one, I think it's great. Aside from Full Sail being a little dull on just like the entertainment side, every other song is just fucking great. Two amazing openers with, you know, Good Time and Lady Linda. Full Sail's alright, and then you get Angel Come Home, Love Surrounds Me. Two fucking phenomenal songs with Dennis on the lead. And then Sumahama, which I think is a really cool song. That one is just a very cool atmosphere. Go listen to that one if you haven't, because I think it's just it's odd, but it's really cool. I really like it. So, side two, this is where my biggest problem with the album lies. Really my only problem. I have another problem with the ending song. We'll get to that, but the reason why this album is so low and not in the top 20 is because side 2 opens up with a disco remake of the 1967 classic Here Comes the Night, which was originally on Wild Honey. And you're like, oh, disco, late 70s, they remade an old song, you know, how bad could it be? And you're like, you know, I would think, yeah, it's not that bad, but it's 11 minutes! 11-minute disco remake of a song that was 12 years old. Bruce was the one who put the whole arrangement together. I don't know if any of the other bandmates had anything to do with it. Maybe Mike or Carl helped out at some point because they sing on it, but it's like, what the fuck is this? I mean, it's really catchy and funny and upbeat. Like, I'm never bored listening to it, but I'm not even joking. I will show you the runtime of the grooves on the album, because you know, you could see this is side 1. And, you know, you could kind of see in the reflection on the phone light, but you could see, like, each track is pretty decent length. But on here, on side 2, look at that track 1. Crazy. 11 minutes. And, yeah, 10 minutes, 57 seconds. It was Brian and Mike originally wrote it in 67 for Wild Honey, and for whatever reason, they redid it on here. It was actually reissued. It was actually made as the first single on this album on a 10-inch record, which is very weird. Very fucking weird. I don't even know how it came into existence. I don't know why Bruce was like, oh, let's do this, but it exists, and it's one of the weirdest Beach Boys songs ever. It's the longest Beach Boys song by a landslide. It's the only disco song that I know of that they ever made, and I'm pretty sure disco was pretty much dying out by this point, so it didn't really, I don't even think it charted. It might have really low. But by the way, this album went to number 100 exactly on the charts, which is very interesting. Because the last one, MIU, went to like 151, so this was 50 spots higher. Not very good, but it did better. And I think Lady Linda charted very well in Europe as a single, which is cool, because America didn't really listen to the Beach Boys at this time. Their new stuff, they didn't really care, so Europe liked them, which is good. Anyway, Here Comes the Night. That's the art, a lady dancing, the phonograph, or not the phone, I think it's the phonograph, I don't even know, the gramophone, whatever the fuck you call it. And then Sumahama. I like the art on this one. And then I think that I show Love Surrounds Me, Angel Come Home. Yeah, Angel Come Home. Some girl on a boat. Love Surrounds Me. This one's cool. It's a bunch of hills and mountains, but it's, dick, tits. Interesting. Very interesting. I creative. I'll give them that. It's creative design. But anyway, back to Here Comes the Night, disco version. So, it's an 11-minute song. There's weird-ass noises, funky vocoder vocals. The verses of the original Here Comes the Night will come in every, 3 minutes. It's too long. There's no reason this needs to be this long. If it was 3 minutes, it would have been fine. Even 5 minutes would have been fine. But 11 minutes! It just completely kills the entire vibe of this album. And while side 1 was absolutely great, better than pretty much everything on MIU, you have 11 minutes. That could have been 3 or 4 songs right there, but you just take it up with one long disco song that's a remake of some random song from Wild Honey. So, yeah, that I can't even really put my thoughts into words for that song, because everything side 1 was great. Side 1 was absolutely great, and I think every song on there is worth checking out. Even Full Sail, even though it's kind of dull. I'm sorry, Carl. It's a little dull, but even then, it sounds really good, and then everything on side 1 is really fucking solid. And then an 11-minute disco song. I'm gonna keep ranting about this because it's kind of crazy that this even exists. But, it exists, and it happened, and it's out there. So if you want to listen to the longest, one of the weirdest Beach Boys songs, go listen to it. It kills the vibe. It doesn't make any sense. It's out of place, but it exists. And I've been talking about this song way too long, so for the next song, we go to Baby Blue. So this is a Dennis song. He wrote it with Greg Jacobson and someone else. I don't know her name. I think it's a girl. But Baby Blue, this is the picture for it. It looks kind of funky. Her face looks off. Anyway, great fucking song. Carl and Dennis share the lead on this one. And, dude, Dennis... Just the Carl and Dennis songs on this album are so good. The songs they wrote and sung on, just... Oh my... It's such a good song. And then this one, Baby Blue. I think it's right up there with the best off this album. Right behind Love Surrounds Me. Maybe behind Good Timin'. Right up there. 2 or 3. And it sounds great. The backing vocals, I love them. I just love how catchy they are. It sounds really, really good. Carl's lead's great. When Dennis comes in, it sounds great. It goes to a piano, just a solo piano thing for a little bit. And I think that one of Dennis's biggest strengths was when he just sat with the piano and sang. Beautiful. He wrote amazing ballads, and that song's no different. Absolutely great. So, you get Here Comes the Night, weird. And then we go back into just great late 70s Beach Boys with Baby Blue. And then after that, there's only actually 2 more songs in the album because Here Comes the Night took up so much of the album. So we get Going South. So this one was written by Carl, I'm pretty sure. Yep, it was Carl. And this is the second of 2 Carl songs on here that I'm I don't know. This one's pretty. I like this one much better than Full Sail. Carl, it's the same exact vibe. Carl's vocals are very soft and sweet again. The song is very luscious and kind of drawn out. But I just think the melody on this one's slightly better. I think the notes he chose to sing were much more interesting. And, while it isn't a very interesting song or song that stands out, I think it's nice. It's got a good vibe. And coming after the Baby Blue, which is, not energetic, but kind of powerful, it kind of mellows things out a bit, which I enjoy. So, Going South, second to last song, not bad. Carl had 3 songs with this album, which is actually a lot for any Beach Boys album. So, 2 of them I'm not huge on. I'm sorry, Carl. But, Angel Come Home, great. One of his best songs. Definitely one of his best songs. And then we end off the album with a Adult Child Leftover, but re-recorded, Shortening Bread. So you guys know, you might not. So if you don't know the story, basically, around the time Brian was working on Beach Boys' Love You and Adult Child, he had some fucking strange fascination with this, traditional 1800s song called Shortening Bread, or Mama's Little Baby Loves Shortening Bread. I don't know what the original was about. I don't know what it was intended. I don't know who came up with it, but basically Brian loved it. There's an infamous interview with Alice Cooper where him and Iggy Pop went somewhere. Brian was there, and he was playing piano, playing Shortening Bread, and telling them it was the greatest song ever written. Dead serious. And, you know, guys like Iggy Pop, Alice Cooper, you know, they're already kind of funky guys. But then Brian creeps them out. Like, that just shows how fucked up Brian was. To creep out a dude like Iggy Pop, you have to be really messed up. And I think he was. And he did a version for Adult Child originally in 77, I'm pretty sure. Or 76, I'm not sure. But, it's definitely got like the vibe of that album, and it's a very similar vibe to Love You with like the synths and stuff. But on this one, for whatever reason, Brian is not even on it. So the Adult Child version is great, super energetic. Brian's vocal is great. It's just fun. It's just a fun time. This one, Carl and Dennis sing it, and you know, Carl sang the verses on the Adult Child version, which I think sounds great. But then I think Dennis is the one who sings the "Mama's little baby love shortening short," which doesn't really work. Like it's very hard to hear him. It's either Mike or Dennis. I'm pretty sure it's Dennis. And it's kind of just weird that Brian's on it, considering this was his contribution to the band. I mean, he didn't write it, but he arranged it, and he was the reason why the song even ended up on here in the first place. So to not hear him on it, it's really weird. Very weird they included it on this album. This is the artwork, by the way. Some kids' shoes, seashells. It looks like very Photoshopped. It looks like pre-Photoshop. It's kind of cool. I don't know. So that ends off the album. So it's really fucking weird because a song meant for Adult Child, re-recorded, ends it off. Beginning of side 2, we get an 11-minute long disco song. But then the rest of the album is great. Great as hell. Like, absolutely great. And, you know, if Here Comes the Night was replaced by 3 actually good songs on the same level as Angel Come Home, Baby Blue, Love Surrounds Me, Good Timing, you know? And then, what's it called? One of Carl's 2 slower songs, you know, Full Sail, Going South. If one of those was different and Shortened Bread wasn't on it, I think this could have been a much, much better album. And I think it could have been a great album. I think if they just left off some of the weird songs, put more good songs that were similar to the other great songs on here, and just, you know, put more thought into the track listing, because a lot of the time during this era of their career, they didn't put a lot of thought into the track listing. I don't know if it was their fault or the record label's fault for doing it, but basically what I have to say about this one is it sounds great. It's a much more fresh album than MIU, and it's just better. I think it's just higher quality, and I think you could definitely tell more effort was put in this. There's basically no Brian on here. The only thing Brian appears on is I don't even know. Maybe in the backing vocals, maybe on Good Timing. And now that I'm thinking about it, I can't really think of anything that Brian is on this album that he actually sings on. So this is mainly a Carl Dennis album, mostly with Mike and Al. And overall, I think it had the potential to be a great, great classic album. But they fucked it up a little bit by putting 2 absolutely weird songs on it. So, side 1, I'll just recap. Good Timing, amazing. Lady Linda, amazing. Full Sail's pretty decent. Angel Come Home, Love Surrounds Me, Sumahama, all fucking great. I love all those 3. Sumahama's a little controversial, but I love that one. So side 1, classic, well, not really classic, but, you know, amazing late 70s Beach Boys. It sounds amazing. It just sounds great. It's written great. It's catchy. It's not boring or slow at all. I mean, Full Sail is a little bit, but the other ones are just, it's good energy. And you're like, wow, this is a really great album so far. And side 2 opens up, 11-minute disco song. And that's probably the thing I've referenced the most in this review, just because it's so, like, Beach Boys are the band that are known for their summer hits and just iconic songs, and for being just writing concise, catchy, memorable, to the point singles and songs just in general on their albums. And it's so weird to hear them not only do a disco remake of an old song, but stretch it out to 11 minutes. And I think it just kind of kills the vibe. It's fun, and you could hear it in the background. I don't even know what to say. It's disco, it's funky, Carl sounds great, there's weird voices on it. It's odd, it's completely odd, and I said that like 3 times already, but it's true. Let me know what you guys think about that one, because it's just funky. And then we get other great songs, you know, we get Baby Blue, which is a fucking awesome song written by Dennis. We get Going South, which is, you know, again, like Full Sail, not that interesting, but it's very sweet, it's very pretty. And then we get Shortened Bread, which, why is it the outro and why isn't Brian on it? So basically my recap is all the songs on here that aren't Here Comes the Night or Shortened Bread are absolutely great. The two slower Carl songs could have been better, but they're not bad at all. They're very nice. All the other songs are great, but then you just have it kind of messed up by these two fucking weird songs that had no place on this album at all. Why was Here Comes the Night on the album? Bruce wanted to be on there, like a Bruce contribution. Shortened Bread, probably the only reason it's probably on this album is because it had Brian credits as the arranger. Yeah, so he adapted the song to be more modern, but he wasn't even on the vocals on this version. So anyway, this was a fun review. This is a very fun, weird, just interesting album. Has disco, it has soul, it has classic Beach Boys, it has classically inspired songs, it has yacht rock. Like, it's a very diverse album, and which I think instantly makes it better than MIU. And I think the bulk of this album is much better than MIU or Keeping the Summer Alive. But again, the two weird ass songs they put on here bring it down a lot, because they could have filled those with great songs, more great songs. They could have. There's a song called California Feelin' written by Brian around this time, and they left it off, and I don't know why they did. And there's some other songs they should have done on here and just taken off Here Comes the Night, because that's mainly the one thing. It's just too long. And I would give this album a 7 out of 10. Same as MIU, but this one is more entertaining for me, personally, and I think the highlights are a lot better. While MIU doesn't have anything that I would consider bad, you know, it definitely has some bland, forgettable stuff. This is mostly all memorable, except it just has weird-ass songs on it. Two weird-ass songs, but, you know, one of them is 11 minutes, so it's like 4 songs in one. And really, I've been restating it the whole time, but besides what the weird-ass decisions they made on this album, everything else is really solid. And I think Dennis, his gruff vocal sounds great, Carl's great as ever, Alan Lady Linda sounds great, Brian's even on it, Mike sounds great on Sumahama. So it sounds great, the harmonies are great, the leads are great, but they made weird ass decisions. So for that reason, I'm gonna have to give it a 7 out of 10. Put it above MIU. It's considerably better than MIU, but at the same time, I think MIU is more consistent, just because the track list doesn't have weird ass songs like I mentioned. So let me know what you guys think about this one, your thoughts on this, because this is genuinely might be the most forgotten Beach Boys album. It's really not one of the ones that's remembered at all. You know, MIU is pretty forgotten, but I think it's known for being forgotten. This one is just forgotten, not really known by anybody. So leave your thoughts in the comments. Overall, 7 to 10. A wacky fucking album. Its highs are very high. Its lows are not even low. They're just weird and don't have any place, so it throws the whole album off. And its mids are just, you know, the Beach Boys at the time in the 70s, like what you would expect. So overall, listen to it. I think you'll have an interesting time. I think you'll be like, what the hell, a few moments. Sumahama will weird you out. Here Comes the Night, Shortened Bread, you'll be like, what the fuck. But the great songs, the Good Time and Lady Linda, Angel Come Home, Love Surrounds Me, Baby Blue, all fucking amazing. And to take anything away from this album, listen to those songs. So anyway, this video is pretty long. I try to make these videos short, but I have a lot of things to say about these albums. So 7 out of 10, 26, so my 5th least favorite. But that being said, we're getting into the territory of their albums where everything is starting to get much, much better. And I think I would recommend this one. Leave your thoughts down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.